Hey, Jay Carper here. Matthew 10, verses 40 through 42. He who receives you receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. He who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he who receives a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever gives one of these little ones only a cup of cold water in the name of a disciple, assuredly I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. Now, the obvious meaning here is that you shouldn't do good just to get a reward. And in fact, if you're doing it just to get a reward, you're not really doing good, so you're kind of forfeiting your own reward. But there are still several layers of meaning in this passage. And one thing to take note of is that if you receive Yeshua, you are also receiving the Father. The Son is an agent of the Father and in essence equals the Father. It's a sort of imputed competence. Let me give you a couple of examples. Let's say an FBI agent comes to your home and shows you his credentials. You know he's from the FBI. And you agree to speak to him out of respect for his office because he represents the FBI and you want to help with whatever investigation they're involved in. Now, maybe he's your cousin, or maybe he's your next door neighbor, or he goes to the same church, whatever. But you don't let him in to your home, or you don't speak to him for that reason. You speak to him because he is a representative of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and you want to help them in whatever mission they've got going on. You trust him because you trust who he represents. Another example, maybe a little less controversial. Let's say that you are a business owner. You you provide a service of solving problems for people. And as part of this business, you send out technicians who do the hands-on work of solving the problems. Maybe you're repairing appliances, or maybe you're a law firm sending out people to consult on contracts or a particular case. Whatever it is, you are the best at what you do. That's how you got to the top of this firm. That's why you run it, and you tell the technicians where to go and what to do. So when you send one of your technicians to a job site to solve a customer's problem, they're not trusting the technician. They may have never heard of this guy. They're trusting you because this person represents you, and you trust this person, and they trust you, therefore they trust your technician. They impute your competence onto him because they know that you know what you're doing and you wouldn't send somebody who didn't. It's one of the reasons it's so important that employers can vet their employees, and if somebody doesn't represent their values and their way of doing business on the job, you get rid of them because you don't want to lose that trust that your customers have in you. So when Yeshua comes in the Father's name, he is on a mission sent by the Father. The Father trusts the Son with everything. Everything that he owns, he has given into the hands of the Son. And so if you don't trust the Son, if you don't accept him, you're rejecting the Father too. Your lack of trust in the Son is a lack of trust in the Father. You can't have one without the other. The second level is a mission participation. If God sends a prophet, which, by the way, if you don't trust a proven prophet, you are also not trusting God. If God sends a prophet and you aid that prophet in his work, you open your home to him, you provide a place for him to stay. Remember the Shunammite woman who put a roof on, or put an apartment up on their roof so that Elisha could come and stay with them whenever he passed by. She was aiding him in his mission, whatever it was. She didn't even know what his mission was, but she knew that this was a man of God and he was on a mission for God. Therefore, she was going to help him. Doesn't matter if this prophet, or as the text says, prophet or a righteous man, a righteous person. Doesn't matter if this person is your next door neighbor or your brother or your best friend. That's not why you do them good. You do them good. You help them in their mission because they're on a mission for God. You, by aiding the righteous person, you are aiding righteousness. I'm sure you've heard the idea that you get more of what you reward. If you want more kindness in the world, then you reward kind behavior. If you want more division in the world, then you reward organizations like Antifa and BLM, whose sole mission is to create division and strife between groups of people. If you want to promote unity between different groups of people and understanding and cooperation, then you find organizations who actually promote those things and you help them. You help the people who are creating those environments, and by participating or by aiding the person who is creating the values that you want to see in the world, you yourself become an agent of those values. You become the one creating them in the world. That's why Yeshua says that if you receive a righteous man because he is righteous, you receive a righteous man's reward, because you are then participating in the mission of the prophet or the righteous man, the person who is bringing good things into the world. There's another side to that, though. If you actively aid a righteous person, if you bring them into your home and you provide for them, you contribute to their ministry or to their mission, the world is going to see you as the same as them. In God's eyes, this is a great thing. You want God to see you with this righteous person. But the world hates God. The world hates righteousness with a violent passion. We have seen this over and over again. You can't get on the internet or watch television without being bombarded with anti-God, anti-biblical, anti-love messages, all in the name of love. They will say things like love wins, but what they mean by love is actually hateful, disgusting behavior. They hate righteousness. They hate everything that is good and beautiful that God has created in the world, and they want to destroy it. And if they see you on the same side as God's righteousness, they will want to destroy you too. You are aligning yourself with the enemies of the world. And your reward, the reward of the righteous person in this world, is much more likely to be slander, oppression, torture, even death, than to be any kind of material gain. You don't aid righteousness because you want to get something in this world. That's how you lose it. You aid righteousness because it's good, because it's on God's side. You trust and you love God, therefore you trust and you love the people who are doing God's work in the world. This is Jay Carper from American Torah. Be blessed.